All accused from additional spectrum case. Ashmit Kumar joins us with more details, and HP Ranina will also join in. Ashmit, first fill in with all the details.
So what we are picking up is that the additional spectrum, in the additional spectrum case, the 2G Special Court has given relief to all the four accused. That's Hutchison's Sterling Mobile, which is now known as Vodafone Mobile Services, Bharti Cellular, as well as the former Telecom Secretary, Shamal Ghosh. Now, essentially what the allegation here that the CBI had sought to press was that additional spectrum had been allocated to these companies in the year 2002, and that this was an abuse of power by the concerned telecom officials, and that this had caused a revenue loss of over 800 crores to the government, to the exchequer. And this was essentially the claim that has been put forth. However, in an order today, just a few minutes back, the special court has held that there is no incremental evidence, that as of now, the charge sheet, in fact, that had been slapped with charges of criminal conspiracy being slapped on the accused, that charge sheet appears to have been fabricated. Towards that end, very specific directions have been issued to the CBI director to also initiate action against CBI officers involved in this investigation. But of course, the big takeaway here being relief coming in for Bharti Cellular, relief coming in for Hutchinson, as well as for Sterling, which is now of course known as Vodafone, that they have been discharged as far as the additional spectrum is concerned. So that's coming as a big breather for the companies involved. Back to you.
Okay, Ashmit, just stay on the line. We also have Mr. HP Ranina, corporate lawyer, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, joining in as well. Mr. Ranina, your take on this?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Ranina, your take on the special 2G court discharging Hutch, Bharti Airtel as well as the former telecom secretary with regards to the additional spectrum case?
Yeah, obviously it means that the government has not been able to build incriminating evidence against these parties, and therefore obviously the court saying that they were not guilty of any wrongdoing. So certainly this is for the telecom sector to some extent, that these people have acted according to the law and regulations, and therefore they cannot be guilty of any wrongdoing. This is what the court has held. So it all depends now whether the government takes the matter in appeal or whether they accept this court verdict.
Okay, that was my next question, Mr. Ranina. What would be the way forward from the government's perspective? Can they appeal this, or would this now mean closure for the case?
Well, I think the Minister, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, is a very fair-minded, objective person, and so being a lawyer, will take a call. He will study the order of the court and see whether there's any substance in going in appeal, because if there's no appeal, then why should you unnecessarily have litigation? So I think it's for the government now to take a call to see whether there is appeal is possible. Obviously, they may refer the matter to some Solicitor General, additional Solicitor General for his opinion, and then close the file if he feels that there is no substance in going in appeal.
Okay, fair enough. Just one quick last question then, Mr. Ranina. You did speak about relief for the telecom space. What kind of precedent does this set in terms of the regulatory perspective for telecom companies going forward?
Well, the telecom companies now have to make sure that they don't fall foul of the regulations, that they make sure that they are within the four corners of the law. And so long as they act in that manner, there's nothing to worry about. They can go ahead with the whatever business they have. So in that sense, obviously the telecom sector will now be able to know that there's a fair judiciary, and therefore if they act within the four corners of the law, there's nothing to worry about.
All right, Mr. Ranina, thanks a lot for your time today. Yes, it seems quite scathing actually. Court saying that charge seems to have been fabricated rather. Let's do one thing. We'll take a break on that note. Once